Welcome to Traveler 360. I'm Tony Adebato, and I am joined by Lisa Falango from Royal Caribbean. And we are here in front of the magnificent Oasis of the Seas in Bayonne, New Jersey at the 9/11 Memorial Park. We both just had the pleasure to experience a 6-night simulation sailing with Royal Caribbean as the Oasis gets ready to get back in the waters. All right, Lisa, so why don't we start right at the beginning with the boarding process? I'm sure a lot of people are concerned about how that looks today versus how it did a few months back. So why don't we start there?
Yeah, that's a good place to start because, as you know, it's very complicated, and as things keep changing, the requirements keep changing as well. And so the first thing is, to all the members, the most important thing to do is talk to your AAA advisor. We at Royal Caribbean, as fast as things change, we get that information out to you first and foremost. But right now, the most important things to have when you're in the boarding process is, of course, your updated passport. That's very important. You also need your vaccination card to show that you're fully vaccinated. You also need to now show up at all the terminals with a negative COVID test as well. And the last thing you'll need is your set sail pass. And so that's your boarding card or your boarding pass that you do online prior to getting on board. So 4 simple things, and those are really what's the most important for boarding right now.
Okay, Lisa, so in addition to the things you need during the boarding process, you're also doing staggered arrival times on embarkation day, is that right?
That's correct. And when you do your set sail, so when you do your online check-in, there'll be an area where it will ask you when you plan to arrive. So whether you're driving or flying, we really encourage that you pick the appropriate time, and that's a way for us to make sure that the embarkation process is smooth and that we don't have people waiting around the terminal. We want to check you in and get you on board as fast as we can.
Now, while you're going about your cruise, masks are generally required in all indoor spaces, right? So why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think what you'll find now is the experience on board is very similar to what we've all been living in the past year or so. Is really in large groups, the masks are required, all indoor spaces. Outdoor, of course, you don't need to have your mask on. But we do have a couple of different protocols on board ship, and we do have some venues that are designated for vaccinated guests only. So once you're in that particular venue, you can take your mask off. So we do have some areas on board the ship where you don't, if you're fully vaccinated, have to wear your mask.
All right, let's talk about dining. I know one of the questions that we get a lot at AAA is about the buffet restaurants and what that experience looks like, whether you're on a ship or on shore. So why don't we talk about Windjammer, for example, on the Oasis and the reservation system that you've also set up.
Great. So Windjammer is known for our buffet, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And again, it's just a little bit modified. So you'll still get the full dining experience, but now you'll have servers. So you basically walk through line and you have servers that follow you all through the different stations for the buffet. So you're not serving yourself, we're still serving you, but you still have the buffet element to pick and choose and do what you would like. So again, just a modified way of doing the buffet.
All right, one thing I did want to bring up was the incredible staff. Right from the very beginning when I got on board that ship, I felt amazed. It was so welcoming and they were so inviting and so excited to see us, I think. So I was curious then about the number of staff and crew that are on board the ship. Is it the same? Has it changed since COVID?
Yeah, no, it's actually a little bit more, and I'll tell you why that there's actually more crew than pre-COVID times, and that's just because of all the different requirements that we have to do. There's certainly a lot more cleaning that we've all seen, but also we've got staff that are staggered everywhere throughout the entire ship, enforcing the masks, right? Because everybody needs a reminder once in a while.
And the hand sanitizing.
And the hand sanitizers. And again, because there are some venues that are for vaccinated versus unvaccinated, we make sure that each venue, there is staff at the door to be able to, answer any questions or point them into the appropriate direction. So there's a little bit more staff on them than in pre-COVID times.
And something else I know we spoke about that you have also dialed up is your medical staff and your medical facilities. So let's talk about that, because I know we don't like to think about those things, but in these days we want to make sure that we all feel good about getting on board the ship. So why don't we talk about the medical situation?
Yeah, absolutely. Our chairman, Richard Fain, says it all the time. Safety and health is our number one priority, and I'm incredibly proud to even talk about what we've done. And again, it's not really something we all like to talk about, but I think for everyone it's just peace of mind. What we've done is we've expanded our medical facilities. So we've got full medical capabilities on board. We actually have 2 physicians now. So pre-COVID times we would have 1. So now we have 2 full-fledged physicians on board. We also have 6 RNs. So on every ship there'll be 2 physicians, 6 nurses, and 4 other medical staff to assist. the medical facilities were expanded. So now we have areas for all issues, down to, and then there's a separate area for just COVID related issues. And both have separate entrances and exits. So we keep them completely separate, completely expanded. And I don't know about you, but for me, that's just really peace of mind knowing that you have top of the line healthcare on board a ship that can do anything at any given second.
Yeah, it's great, and I was so thrilled when I found out that had happened with the medical team. Just again, peace of mind is so critical these days, and I love that. So unfortunately, our cruise came to an end, which is how we are here now filming in front of the ship, right? But the disembarkation process, let's talk about that, because I have to say that was very smooth.
Very smooth. So what we've done here is a couple little changes. I think what we all will agree upon is just getting off the ship is that you no longer have to be out of your cabin by a certain time and go to a dedicated area to wait until you're called off the ship. Now you stay in your stateroom and you're given a time based on what you required or requested, based on whether you're driving or flying. So there is a note that comes in your room midway asking for what time would you like to depart. You do a little quick snapshot on your phone and fill out that little survey, and they send a tag to your room the night before, which is your number for getting off the ship. But you stay into your cabin until your number is called. So that I thought was really easy. So you can go get breakfast, go get coffee, come back to your room, kind of just finish up your packing, and then off the ship. So
Right.
No more waiting in crowds anywhere. I thought that was great.
Yeah, and then you just come right out the gangway with your SeaPass card like always and go through customs and you're on your way.
And that was it.
That was it.
Simple.
Yes. If there is one thing that we want to leave people with, one thing you should know about cruising today and coming back to cruising, what would you say that is?
I would say you would have an amazing vacation experience, regardless of some of the new protocols that we have to adhere to. You'd have the same great experience as you did pre-COVID. And don't be afraid. I mean, we talked about the health and safety measures that we have on board. It is a very safe and healthy environment. And again, with a few modifications, you still have the full cruise experience.
Great. Well, on that note, thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate you joining me. Thank you for having me aboard that fantastic ship, and I can't wait for more people to experience cruising in the near future. So thanks again, and thank you for joining us.